welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. 1 John 1:5 reads, "This then is a message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all." James spoke of the same topic this way in the 1st chapter and 17th verse of his book. "Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning." Because God, whom we cannot see, made the lights which we can, it can be a temptation to forget God and reverence the creation instead of the Creator. Through the centuries, people have often paid homage to the handiwork of God in the heavens rather than to Him. The truth is that truly permanent things are not those material matters of the earth which may be seen with the natural eye. They all perish with the using. Those old gospel writers use the example of natural and spiritual light to show us the difference. James tells us that all natural light produces shadows, but there are no shadows in spiritual light. The word translated variableness, parallage, refers to the hourly change in the relationship of the sun to the earth, so that every day has morning, noon, and night, which is the ultimate shadow. There are no such variations in God's dealings with us. He is always the same, both in love and mercy, and in judgment and justice. Nor is there shadow that is cast by turning with him. The word translated turning is elsewhere used in the Bible for the changes that appear in the relative positions of the heavenly bodies. It is as if James were saying, the phenomena of nature are of necessity changeable. The phenomena of God are unchangeable. All material things are mutable. God is immutable. Though the lights of the heavens change with the hours and the seasons, he created them changes not. It must therefore follow that only that which is good can originate from him, and can never be the occasion of placing temptation and sin in the path of his creatures. So we see two wonderful truths about him in these verses. First, there is no mixing of evil in the goodness which he bestows. Many a theory has been concocted of Satan's origin, of God's role in the Pandora's box of evil sin brought unto the human race, the cause for human suffering. Although there are profound and complex theological questions associated with all of these scriptures stoutly assert that all reasoning about these issues must begin with the understanding that every bit of evil from any source did not originate with God. The second wonderful truth is that no shadow ever falls over God that can hide his goodness. He never has to look at something taking place in his world and ask in dismay, "What are we going to do now?" His being as God shines through every circumstance humans can possibly face, from Jonah in his fish ride to Elijah sweeping in fiery chariots into the heavens. Although his ways are past understanding, we may confidently trust that it is impossible he will ever betray any of his trusting children. These important truths are especially meaningful to Christians of today. All about us is change on a scale that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. Think how Columbus would have marveled that someone put a GPS receiver in his hand, taught him to use Google Earth to track the Santa Maria's progress across the ocean, or that today 3 women in 4 have had a live-in relationship before marriage. It is challenging to keep our moral footing in the cultural, scientific, and philosophical atmosphere of Western civilization in which we currently live. So while so many things seem turned upside down, in reality, the role of the church is important to the world as it has ever been, and the moral compass the Bible alone can provide must still be the great beacon light in our lives. As Philip Briss wrote in the old gospel song, "The whole world was lost in darkness of sin. The light of the world is Jesus. Like sunshine at noonday, his glory shone in. The light of the world is Jesus. Come to the light, 'tis shining for thee. May God be your light." Oh, and have you talked to him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.